Forward to this computer. Good evening, everybody. This is Yonks with REtoken DAO, and this is our third tokenomics working group. So we're not doing this live here today, but it will be uploaded to YouTube. So the purpose of this working group, and this is the third part in a series I'll probably make for anybody that's watching this after the fact, do like a little YouTube. And on the working group agenda here in Google Docs, I've got, this is actually something that I added earlier, is the YouTube links here. So on the, and Tyler's going to be working on shoring up the participants. We actually created a Google sheet here. So this is Yonks, and currently running the REtoken DAO working group. This is, again, our third working group on tokenomics. Made a lot of progress. Not going to go into details as far as what's transpired during our previous working groups. Super excited about the direction that we're going here. We're really laying some foundational approaches. And with REtoken DAO, we're really taking a community-first approach towards creating I'm losing my words here, so apologies. So really excited about creating a community that we believe will be a catalyst for disrupting the real estate industry with blockchain technology. So one of the things that we did speak about on our previous tokenomics working group, and Tyler is going to be facilitating that. So the people that are on this list, and one of the things that we did agree to, and I'll circle back to that because I'm wanting to focus on doing some intros. So Yonks here, you know, DAOs, all in on DAOs, all in on crypto here in 2021, focused on REtoken DAO. And I'm going to go ahead and allow, please try to keep the 30 seconds, sorry, real quick intro, just go down the list. And Tyler's going to be working on keeping track of the participation. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and allow Tyler to introduce herself. And then Tyler, if you could hand it over to Teresa, and then I'll let Teresa host or facilitate the rest of the introductions here for this. And then Tyler will work on updating and I'll actually leave that open here while we're doing the intro. So over to you, Tyler.
Thanks, Jason. So I'm Tyler Yonker. I'm Jason's wife. I am super excited to be part of this. We are on a mission to make real estate flatter, more accessible, more fair, more open, more transparent, and really open up an investment opportunity for people all over the world who haven't felt like they've had a voice up till now. So over to you, Teresa. Teresa, are you there? All right, well, let's keep on going with the intros. Andrea, if you want to give us a 30-second intro, who you are and what your interests are. Love to hear from you.
Hey, this is Andrea, and my basic is that I just started into real estate. I've been doing crypto since the beginning of the year, part of a couple of crypto groups. So I've been learning a lot this year, and my brain is a little overfull, but I just started this month in August to learn about real estate investing. And I really want to be part of that fractionalization, tokenization, crypto buying, selling aspect of it, and with an totally ecological and green bent to it. So that's pretty much me. So I think I found you guys like on your first meeting on Clubhouse, which was awesome. So yeah, really glad to be here, and I'm excited to see what happens. So thanks.
Okay, great. Dax, please give us a 30-second intro, who you are and what you're interested in. Dax, are you there?
Yeah, hi guys. Yes, I am. Hi guys, I am Dax, and you know, I'm an investor, a real estate professional, and I have some IT background as well. And you know, I've been I've been dabbling with the crypto since the beginning of this year. I am super interested in the whole ecosystem, and you know, I am a crypto enthusiast. I'm an investor as well, and I've been reading tons of stuff. And I was talking to the other day to Lisa on Clubhouse. I've associated with various Clubhouse groups as well on the crypto side and real estate side. So I was talking to her, and she was talking about this, REtoken DAO, and I'm super interested in this. So I thought I would just check with her, and she sent me a bunch of links to go and check it out. So yeah, I'm here to learn and add value, and wherever I can, I'll be happy to contribute to this project. Yeah, that's me, and thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Serge, please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Serge. I'm entrepreneur, maker, coder, writer from Washington, D.C. area, and I'm interested in tokenizing 3D printed housing. And I'm here to help Youngs and the team as much as I can. Thank you.
Awesome. Michael, please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, name's Michael Fioretti. I've been working in the blockchain space as a developer since 2014. Really was interested in what you guys are working on just because I met Teresa and Yonks on Clubhouse. I'm on there pretty frequently as one of them, moderator for a large Bitcoin cryptocurrency education group. So just here to kind of check in and see what you guys are up to and try to provide any insight or help any way I can.
Great. Thanks so much. Amy, please introduce yourself. Amy, you're on mute if you're talking.
Oh, hi. Yeah, sorry about that. This is Amy Marcella, and I just recently joined the group, and I'm really interested and looking forward to doing some work with you guys and learning. Basically, we do have a solar farm project in Mississippi, and I was learning also to see if I could apply this with the other projects we have in mind. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. And then Yui, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, please correct me, and please introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yes. I've been in this space since 2014. I built the decentralized banking system on top of Bitcoin, which later was sold to Citibank. It was very slow before the Ethereum days, multi-sig transactions and all that. And then I've been in and out of the space on DeFi, AMM from the beginning, before AMMs, I guess, and the whole collateralization, lending, borrowing steps. So right now I'm a solid developer and the rest developer, mostly just focusing on DeFi projects, NFTs, and exploring NFT collateralization as of now. But yeah, that's pretty much my background in a nutshell. I am a real estate investor, I guess. I've been doing small real estate development, and I do have a seat in the Affordable Housing Committee of the city of Fort Lauderdale. So I've been focusing on small real estate development as reinvesting, I guess, some of my proceedings. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, perfect. Lala, welcome, and please introduce yourself.
Hey, let me get with you in a second. I'm in listening mode. Are you done? Exactly what to do. Yes, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it. I'm at work. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to tune in and hear what's going on. It's okay. My boss is trying to like top down me right now. Just kicking out. Yeah, I'm Tina Trout, Lala Gardens, Colorado, and looking to tokenize, decentralize, do all kinds of radical things. And so I'm just here for the ride, for the lesson, for the journey, and happy to be amongst a forming DAO. Incomplete.
Awesome. And back to our Teresa, who is wonderful and keeps us on point. So Teresa, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Teresa. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us and being a part of the evolution of REtoken. I'm sorry, that's it. I know we're 15 minutes in. I just want everyone to have an opportunity to speak and be respectful of our time and getting things completed. Thank you.
Awesome. So one quick housekeeping item before I give it back to Yanks. I'm keeping the spreadsheet. Amy already said that her Zoom name is on there differently. If you guys have an Ethernet address or an Ethernet name, please send it to me in a private message so I can add that. So when we start doing token drops later on, we've got everybody's addresses. Number one, and number two is if you come in these rooms as different people, like phone numbers or different names or whatever, if you can let me know that, so I've got records like Amy and Amy are the same person. Back to you, Yanks.
Great. All right, let me fire up the agenda here. I'll turn my video back on. So going over here to the agenda, and so the purpose of this working group is to really do a deeper dive. So on our previous tokenomics working group, we created social tokens. And one of the things that I like, and I created this comment over here, and one of the things that I think that we can and should is utilize these social tokens. Like, we are a startup company and a startup community, and these are tokens that we can use to create incentives to reward our community for creating all the things that we need to create to be this catalyst for disrupting the real estate industry. So whether that's courses, for like whether one of the things that we have had some very preliminary conversations about is a certificate program, like a fractionalized real estate professional. And just the housekeeping things. I mean, Teresa and myself have been, and there's been other people that have been contributing, and appreciate Serge and Michael, and Tyler is increasingly participating in the clubhouse, and just things that we're utilizing on a regular basis to build this community. So that's the primary focus of tonight's working group. So to rewind a little bit, like the decisions that we must make. So like we already completed really these items, and it's still open for this one, and I'll circle back to that later. But the one that we're really talking about here is how will we distribute these tokens after that they've been minted. So right now we're doing what's called a fair launch. The DAO, the Treasury, has currently 100% of the tokens. Nobody, not myself, not Teresa, nobody has any tokens for the community. So that's what we're looking to go. That's the primary purpose for tonight's working group. So, and I want this to be an ongoing conversation. And one of the things that I think that will be really helpful is to like, and let me actually scroll down here to where we've got in this document, and hopefully everybody has a link to this. I've circulated it pretty well. Let me put a link in the, I think that this is the link that people can, oh, Teresa, thank you for throwing that in the Zoom chat. So this is the doc that we're looking at, and where we have some details on this token distribution methodology is down over here, and that's in the social token distribution methodology in the table of contents. So there, we've got these weekly, and I started breaking this out, but these the weekly reoccurring REtoken events. So going back to the agenda, so that's again the primary thing that we're looking to do. So social token platforms, and before we go into the meat and potatoes on that, we're currently utilizing Coinvice. So here's the link. I'm going to throw that in the Zoom chat as well. Coinvice is the platform that we minted social tokens. And the reason that this is relevant is later tonight, and one of the big ongoing conversations is the Gitcoin Decentralized Governance Hackathon. And I'm not going to go off on a tangent on this. I'm going to bring it up in a tab. and because we're going to talk about this later during the meeting. So the Decentralized Governance Hackathon, and let me show that here in a tab, and we've got in our Discord server, we've got the hackathons over here, so you can read some more about it. I'll throw this in here if you want to pull that open. It's also in our Discord. So going back to the Coinvice, right here is some good examples of some other communities that are utilizing this platform to create some incentives. Like right here, Pope. And for those that aren't familiar, Pope is like a little token that you get for a proof of participation. Like tonight, we're all participating here on this Zoom for this tokenomics working group. And potentially, like if we had proof of participation implemented within our DAO, that's a way that we could also visualize our participation as well. And so here's some good examples. And if I'm not going to spend some time looking through this, but that's one of the opportunities that we have on Coinvice. And I'm actually on the REtoken DAO profile here. You can see is that we could potentially create some bounties. So it's not just necessarily distributing tokens within our community. And this was a side conversation that I was having a little bit earlier with Teresa, is that like we could potentially like put out some bounties here on Coinvice in conjunction with the existing bounties on the Decentralized Governance Hackathon. So that being said,
I'd like
Teresa.
to take a pause. I just wanted to pause from what we reviewed thus far. Does anyone have any comments or contributions about what we're doing here? Anything that they want to input before we proceed? Anybody can
No, I'm good.
if
Thank
you
you,
have
though.
a question or comment.
I can jump in real quick just to expand on what Yonks was talking about with the POAPs. I'm actually getting some feedback.
Oh, I think somebody was Mike that got it closed up. So
Okay.
try again.
Yeah, I'll ask everyone who's not speaking to kill your mic for a moment. Go ahead, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah. So I've been, as everybody knows, I'm working with the Super Humans, but I also work very closely with the POAP team as well. And those are actually really simple. Like we could create one in literally 10 minutes for tonight's meeting if we wanted to. All we need is an image for it. And everybody that has one, that's here, we could send them a code and they would get a proof of participating for tonight. So yeah. Vitalik actually talked about this at his talk at ECC about how we can use these POAPs for all kinds of stuff to help facilitate things just like this, to show that people were at these meetings and participated in things like that. So yeah, just a heads up, that's one way, that's one thing we can implement very easily and start putting that to work.
Okay,
awesome.
Are we in agreement that we can do that tonight?
I have no objection. Can we add that to the back end of the agenda, Teresa?
I prefer we add it in the middle. So, because he said it only takes a minute, I'd like to review it after it's done so we can have some time at the end to discuss it.
I'll share a link in the chat if Yonks, maybe if you want to take a look at this, or if everybody, I'll share it for everybody to have a look at. But yeah, we would just need maybe some images from the REtoken DAO or whatever to use.
I can send you that.
Yeah, we're
email address.
We're a little limited on our imagery. Is that something that would just be related to like this one event, or is that something that would be could be changed easily?
So a POAP is actually a token that's minted on the XDAI network. And it can be turned into, if you wanted to mint it on Ethereum, it'll be minted as an NFT, but you don't have to. So you can use it and keep it on the XDAI network where it's gasless. So you don't have to spend any gas on it. So yeah, anybody can claim them, and it goes straight to your whatever wallet address, your Ethereum wallet, whatever wallet you're using. And it just, you can go check their page. I shared the link to it. Anybody can go to poap.xyz, and it'll, if you put your Ethereum wallet address in, it'll display all of the POAPs that you've, been to before. But I shared
I just lost everybody. So I missed a bit there.
Yeah, so I was just, can y'all hear me? Am I coming through?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, so
anybody can go to poap.xyz and you put your Ethereum wallet address in. No?
I think it's coming through on my end, okay?
Okay. Maybe I can just share the details in chat. But yeah, I'll share the link to the website.
I'll be in contact with you through chat, Poopster, okay?
Sure.
All right, Jason, go ahead. You can. Is there anyone else want to have a question or comment about what we discussed thus far? That anybody else have something to contribute? If so, you can unmic now. If not, we'll move on. Anyone? Going 1, 2, 3. Okay, Jason.
All right, thank you, Teresa. And I'm adding this here before we start talking about the Gitcoin hackathon. So setup POAP, that's POAP for REtoken DAO. So excited about that. I actually went to the Spork DAO launch party in Denver, ETH Denver, the big Denver Ethereum community transition from centralized community to DAO. And it was a pretty fun lunch party, and I got a little POAP token. I don't know if I've even set it up, but anyway, I've heard some cool things about what they're doing with the proof of participation stuff. So one of the things that also wanted to talk about, and this was what I alluded to a little bit earlier, is that the DAO and the software as a service or framework that we have is not something that is currently set in stone. And I'm hoping that as we navigate this Gitcoin hackathon process, that we'll have some hands-on experience working with some of these other governance platforms, because myself, I haven't participated in DAOs before. So that's one of the things that's pretty exciting about what we're doing here, is that we're all learning together and we're operating very openly. And that's the whole purpose of this working group too, is to invite other people like Popester that is, contributing to the conversation here, because there's a lot of people that have been further down this crypto rabbit hole, if you will. So that being said, we do have Snapshot in place. We don't have any proposals that on it yet, but we did get during our tokenomics working group, our second one, we do have REtoken DAO in here, and I'll put a link to that. And one of the things, and I'm going to go back real quick to take a little deviation. So wanted to thank Tyler for some of the efforts that she is doing to get the spreadsheet updated for tonight's participation. And if we get the POAP in place, is that how you say it? Am I saying that right, POAP?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so if we get the POAP in place, we might not even need to go through. We still have the previous working groups here. So, and where we were going with that, or where I was going with that, is that going to be reaching out and making sure that we get the Ethereum addresses, because what we're going to do for these other two working groups is do like a airdrop and stuff like that. So Tyler's working on getting the addresses. I was actually going to go take a look over here at About, and we'll get people added as members here. And I'm sure that some of this technical capability can be added later. And one of the other things, and I don't know if I have an agenda bullet point for that, is that we, I think it'd probably make more sense. And kind of talking out loud here, so if it's coming across as rambling, but one of the things that I noticed about Snapshot is that we can do a flag, and let me actually just connect here real quick because I should be signed in. I'll do that over here. So we can flip the flag that allows like where only members in Snapshot can create proposals. Because one of the things that we also need to establish is kind of like a workflow for what we want the proposal process to look like. Now, whether we use Snapshot or one of these other tools like Aragon or Colony or Boardroom, and I'm going to actually put in here Gitcoin Hackathon bounty. So I do think that it would be worthwhile to go through the process. And real quick, I know that you had some side conversation with Teresa and Michael. And before we do that, no, since we're talking about it, Teresa, did you want to go ahead and just provide a quick synopsis of what that looked like here with you and Michael the other day?
I would prefer if Ryan did that because I'm busy working with Booster at the moment. If Ryan is here or ready, either of you can give a synopsis of the hackathon project that we started and what we did in Boardroom.
Yeah, I could start really quick, and then Ryan, you can go over. Yeah, so not to say that it wasn't a lot, but Brian and Teresa, I think Teresa had reached out to me. They were just looking at some the Gitcoin hackathon thing. So I basically just got on a quick call with them and helped them fork a repo and push some updates up to a branch to where they have access to their own forked repo. Then I believe that they're still in the middle of getting some more information, or at least updating some of the JSON files, so Gitcoin can read it once they push up to that branch.
Got it. Nice. Yeah, and one of the things too, going to be talking a little bit about, since we're talked about the hackathons, is right now looking at doing another working group, and this will be just a hackathon working group on either Wednesday or Thursday, and then also a second one on Saturday, because we're really wanting to utilize the momentum from these hackathons. And I really believe that the social proof that we could potentially receive by winning one or several of these bounties will be very solid. So anyway, to continue on with the agenda here. So that being said, that was a little bit of a segue here, is that as a social token platform, we are not just like set in stone. And I don't, hopefully like we can continually, as the space, because social tokens and everything that's going on with crypto is still super early. So I think it would be solid for the culture to exist here with our DAO to continually be looking and reviewing technology and putting whatever tech tools make the most sense in place. Like we have some tech tools that we're using. I mean, we're using Google Docs right now, and it's for real-time collaboration. It's one of the best tools that I've seen, and the cost to use it is the best. Now, we all know that there's some hidden costs to using Google, but I'm not going to go off on that tangent right now. So that being said, Teresa and I did have a side conversation with TriRoll. They have a little bit more of a gated onboarding process with who that they allow to utilize their social token platform. So categorically, that's what Coinvice and TriRoll are, is a social token platform. So we had a good conversation with Roll, and there's some good resources here for those people that want to do a deeper dive, and I'm highlighting these right here. Great resources. I'm going to just add a comment, great resources. So take a look at those. You can do that offline. I haven't, I'm saying great. I'm hoping that they're great. So if they suck, I apologize, but that's some resources that the point of contact, and they actually have one of the dynamics that they have is that, and they had a very wide window. So one one important takeaway is that they are currently, they being Roll, are upgrading their smart contracts here in September. And the point of contact at Roll said that they were expecting the updated smart contracts to be available in probably mid to late September. So if we did decide to utilize Roll for whatever additional benefits that they would provide, and that's, again, something that we can have more conversation with. So just kind of bringing everybody up to speed here, that we as the community at large are still evaluating. Another up and coming social platform that I'm super optimistic about is Subsocial on the Polkadot Kusama infrastructure, and that'll probably be Q3. Well, and Q3 is only 1 month left, so realistically probably be more Q4. So again, like, one of the things that we've had some initial conversations with about is and most of these have been side conversations, because right now we're in a season of this where we're laying a solid foundation. And where this side conversation was born out of is I've seen some other DAOs that exploring where they're utilizing this season context. And that's something that I really like. And also to keep that in line with the podcast that Teresa and I are going to be launching in September, the REtoken podcast, is we're also going to be utilizing a seasons parameter on that. So one of the things that I would like to propose is that while we're in this initial foundational season for REtoken DAO, that this will be season 0. Now, one of the things that often comes up in conversations regarding social tokens is establishing liquidity, getting your social token listed on a decentralized exchange like Uniswap. With us being a startup and preliminary community, I think that those are conversations that would just add some additional complexity to the overall process. Because right now, we as a community are working towards creating something of value. So like functionally, the social tokens that we minted last week have 0 value, and until they're listed with some decentralized exchange like Uniswap is the big giant gorilla in the room that everybody that wants to have some liquidity works on listing. So what I'm actually proposing, and we had where this is relevant to the conversation, is that the recommendation from the sales guy at Roll alluded that they normally recommend more maturity within a tokenized Web3 community than the one that we have. So that being said, what I'm proposing is that we look at this current season of our DAO as season 0, and then a very easy mile marker that will be absolutely recognized by all of us. And I'm sure that there will be a substantial amount of conversations when we get closer to that period of time, is the decentralized listing, the DEX listing, like with Uniswap. And then that milestone, that'll flip the needle from season 0 over to season 1. So that being said, I want to pause, because I think that that's an important conversational piece. Allow everybody to chime in with some thoughts if they would like to, but that's kind of a foundational proposal where I'm suggesting curbing the conversation as far as the liquidity, the decentralized, until we've actually laid a solid foundation where we have substantial value that we can provide to, or are providing to, the community that we're creating. So I'm going to stop talking now.
Yeah, I agree. And is there any listing fees associated with listing on exchange? And there is probably a waiting list as well.
I have no idea, Serge, what that process looks like. And this is one of the things that I am trying to get increasingly better at, is guarding my thoughts for things that could be their own rabbit hole. Because like I'm newer to DeFi. I have no idea what it looks like to get listed on a decentralized exchange. And that's one of the reasons that I'm advocating of curbing the conversations till we actually create a solid community here, lay that foundation, and then we can have some solid conversations as the community grows. And there's evidence. I mean, like right now I'm looking at the participants. I mean, we've got 14 participants on the Zoom call. So the community is growing, and the community is growing fast. And I think that we will absolutely have solid conversations when we've got even more momentum, and people that have already been down that process, I believe, will increasingly become attracted to our community. So appreciate the echoing the sentiments, Serge.
Yeah,
so,
I agree. Totally agree.
I can
Let's
answer those
postpone.
questions. I can answer all those questions if you like.
You mean as far as if you promise to keep it super high level for me, as far as some bullet points.
Oh man.
Amelia, please mute your mic.
Yeah, so I mean, if you don't want to get into it now, that's fine, but I can answer all those questions. Like I have answers to all those questions. So listing on a decentralized exchange is permissionless, which means that that's one of the cool things about crypto is that anybody can do it. So if we wanted to right now, we could take and add liquidity to a pool. I believe the token was listed on Polygon. So our options would be actually something like Quick Swap or Sushi Swap. And what we would do is take and add liquidity to a liquidity pool on Sushi Swap, which would be half our token and half whatever trading pair we are offering it against, which would be normally something like USDC or Ethereum. So yeah, that's how that would work. And like I said, anybody can do it at any time. It's completely permissionless, and nobody has to ask anybody. So if we wanted to, theoretically, we could do it now if we wanted to actually fund it, but you would actually need to put another asset with it to actually create some kind of value or fund it, as you're saying. But I do agree that I think that should be quite a bit down the road, and governance should kind of dictate and decide when that happens.
That's the part that I'm confused about. Like when you said add something to it to create some other value, can you explain that a little bit more? What we would need to add to it if we did do it now, or when we're ready to do it?
Yeah, well, in traditional markets, you have what's called a market maker, which provides liquidity for trading pairs. In decentralized finance, we don't have centralized exchanges. So all the exchanges are decentralized, like Uniswap, Sushi Swap, these different swapping sites that you hear about, which means that they're no one runs them. They're written in code, and the code is executed as it's written. So what happens is, for example, we would take 50 REtoken DAO tokens, and if we said, let's just say, for example, we value them at $1 each. So we would take 50 REtoken DAO tokens and 50 USDC dollar coins, and you would deposit them to a smart contract that holds both. And then it lets people, anyone who wants to buy or sell the token, be able, it provides that liquidity for people to be able to trade between those two. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm taking notes. Okay.
I can recommend, there's a,
say every time we want to do an airdrop, we got to put up half of what we say the value is.
No,
that's
no.
That what you're saying?
This is just so that our token gets listed on a decentralized exchange like Uniswap. So if somebody wants to, right now, until that happens, there's zero opportunity for anybody to externally acquire our social tokens. So the only way right now is to get any social tokens is if the treasury, the REtoken DAO treasury, sends them to someone. So the big value of getting the decentralized listing, and I don't know normally how much, but normally the number one pair that people pair the coin with is Ethereum. So normally, like if you want to acquire some other social token, like friends with benefits or bankless, or it's a long list of social tokens that there's liquidity available for. Gitcoin, since we're talking about a Gitcoin. So the process is like you do the pairing like with Ethereum, and that's where somebody would have to stake on the extent, and that's it's kind of it's not hard to do. It's just a process to do it, and that's kind of why just trying to create this like foundational thing that's easy for us to have is a roadmap item that we can all say, okay, well, when we get this milestone, that's when we're out of season 0 and we're into season 1. And that's really where the token that we've created, the social token, will go worth nothing right now to potentially worth something, depending on what the open market makes that happen. So yeah, and there's
my question, I have a question really quickly for Pooster. If we went ahead and created this, like you were saying, can be done right now, what would we have to put up monetarily wise in order to do that?
Well, whatever we value the sure.
And if can it be changed if we rethink things later, or want to do it different later, or realize that we've done something wrong and we want to do it another way? Is this set in stone, or is this like we can do it this way for now, play with it a little bit, figure things out, have meetings, mull over it, and then come back and tweak it? Or is it like how we do it now is how it's got to stay because it's in the smart contract?
That's correct. It's once we put it, more than likely, once we put it into whatever, no, once we put it into a pool, anybody can add this on a decentralized exchange. Anybody can add liquidity to the pair. So if we list it on a decentralized exchange, anybody can buy it, sell it, or supply liquidity for it as well, which means they could actually add tokens to the pool. So yeah, once that's done, there's no changing the price. The market dictates the price from there. Yeah, there's no, once we've committed those tokens to providing liquidity, that's, I mean, we can withdraw them, but yeah. It's if you want to learn more about this, you should have a look at letsdodefi.com. It's a very simple beginner's guide.
Is there a reason why we would not want the market to dictate the price? I mean, we can come in at a really low valuation, especially since we're saying it's not worth anything anyways, and let the market dictate the value. Do we have
the reason, Teresa, is that we haven't created anything of value yet. Like what?
But
why would?
Question is that a necessary step in the process? And if it is, why?
So when you think of all the efforts, like when you're thinking of an IPO, because this is functional, this would be similar to a company that's going through a process. Now, that being said, it's substantially easier than going through an IPO process with a public company, but you only have one opportunity to do your initial offering, and that's functionally what this would be. It would be an IDO, an initial decentralized offering is what these are called within the space. And right now, the community that we are just barely creating, it's just a fledgling community. There's not where, like, I mean, we have a Discord server with a couple channels on it. We've got some, some YouTube recordings on YouTube. But as far as like us creating something substantial that's of value, there's going to be some process that needs to go through. So the opportunity for us to be strategic about doing our IDO is that's something that we need to have solid conversations. We don't just want to rush through so that we can check a box so that we can say, okay, well, we've got our token listed. It's something that needs to be a well thought out and well executed process, because we only have one opportunity to do it right.
I'm just trying to get clear on why that matters if it has no value. And we're stating publicly that it has no value, and we're not anticipating or trying to have any value to it until the market dictates that, which would occur anyway. So I'm just trying to get clear so that I understand how it works when you go through the process of planning, because my understanding right now is that you would go through that when you want the coin to have a certain value to it when it come off into an exchange. So basically a lot of people be doing the pumps and whatever, and they're trying to get money out, so they're putting it at a certain point, even though the market may not bear that point. So they're putting these projections in there. It's that they're projections, and they pump it up by saying it's blase this, blase that, when really at the end of the day, the market determines what it is. So I just want to be clear, if we go through that projection and planning process to determine, you know, what those numbers look like and everything, that I'm clear on how do we know when we've gotten there?
I can jump in here and, like, honestly, there's no way to evaluate anything like this. Like I do this every day with DeFi projects. There's no way to evaluate any of this. There's absolutely, you can just pick an arbitrary number, but honestly, there's several ways that you can distribute the token, or that REtoken DAO could distribute the token without actually having to give it a value. You know, you could do, like Yonks was saying, there's different ways to do an IDO. So there's different ways to distribute. We don't just have to put it on a decentralized exchange and list it for everybody. It can be distributed to members if we wanted to do it differently.
So going back to the thought here, because like that's the last 5 or 10 minutes of conversing about this is just additional evidence of why that I've suggested postponing talking about this, so that we can actually get focused on the conversation as far as what we as a community are going to create and do, where that we actually create a community that has value here. Because now this is a mechanism that we can provide an access to our, like, one of the values that I would potentially see, as far as, like, if we created something that says, okay, well, you know, let's say a premium tier, and I'm going to actually bounce down here to the section of the document, like where there were some initial thoughts over here. Let's see, where I think I'm scrolling a little bit further. So the social token distribution methodology, and these numbers are just some initial numbers that were being tossed around. So, and those need to be refined substantially. So one of the things, like, here is like we've got, like, let's say that we create a value ladder, and this is a very common thing, like tier 1 equals 50 tokens, tier 2 equals 100 tokens. And if we're providing various value at these various tiers, where somebody's like, okay, man, I'm loving what's going on here, and I need to be at that value ladder, that would be a potential opportunity. But we haven't even had enough conversations as far as, like, potentially value ladders to say, so that there's not really, there's not any mechanism that we have as far as creating a gated community right now. And that's part of what we're wanting to do here during this conversation, is, like, figure out some means for distributing these tokens, so that we can, you know, work towards creating something of value. So I want to stop talking. I know that I want to go back to the question at hand, as far as, like, season 0, and you know, like, whether we choose to fast forward and make it like season 1. I'm just trying to get some consensus here, as far as saying right now we're in season 0, and then whenever we go through the effort to get it listed on a decentralized exchange like Uniswap, that'll be season 1. So does anybody else have any thoughts on that, yays or nays, or just talking out loud here?
Sure, let's continue. Anyone else want to add to the discussion before we move on?
Lola Gardens here. I was just going to offer that. So because I'm working within a DAO right now that's a currency, and there's mechanisms that are built into how to create value within the community before it goes live. Just to give you kind of an example of like the value of waiting a bit, so you can create that internal value that once you go live, you kind of don't have as much control over. So they were, Reiki, the one who put the coin forward for seeds, expected to go live in 2019, and we're still not live. And some of it is, there's just different mechanisms. So I would say, yeah, it's an important step.
What was the important step, Tina? Can you rephrase what you said?
Yeah, for sure. Just waiting to open it up to the general public, because there's a lot of internal structuring and valuation that can be created through proposals. For instance, you can start creating value through proposals and how we circulate the token internally. So yeah, you don't have the freedom to really do that once you go live. So just a way of creating value, not going live quite yet.
I agree. That's a great point to start creating value for your token before you even think about even listing it anywhere. I think it should definitely stay within the DAO for the time being until we can create some kind of a value, and then we can revisit the conversation. Like Yonk said, I'm sorry, I kind of derailed things. I wanted to try to explain kind of how things worked a little bit, but did not want to get too deep into it. So I do think it's good to revisit this like later.
No, and it's a good conversation, because like we I think would be lying to ourselves or anybody else here if we're wanting to pour some efforts into something and we don't have some internal hopes that down the road that this effort will be worth something. And I think that echoes with all of us, which is why that we're hanging out here at 8 o'clock on what is tonight? Tuesday night. And like, you know, Mrs. Yonks and I literally drove all night, you know, on a road trip and took a power nap earlier today so that we could facilitate this call tonight, because we're wanting to create something of value. And then most importantly, like, you know, the implications as far as like one of the things that Mrs. Yonks and I are super passionate about is just increasing the opportunities for people to invest in real estate, which is has been one of the best investment vehicles by the wealthy for centuries. And the opportunity to create a more fair situation with real estate ownership and have that to be community owned, potentially on a global scale. So anyway, I'm gonna give like five more. Go ahead, Teresa.
I was just going to say really quickly, if you could scroll down to the section of the notes that I had took for Cinco, I added some of the stuff that I had sent to him that I didn't put in here at the bottom, basically on as far as, I don't know if this is what you are referring to as value, but ways in which people could redeem the tokens. Some thoughts that I had was, you know, we talked about creating an ebook, we talked about training, we talked about conferences, we certainly have meetings that, you know, people may eventually have to pay $10 for in-person meetings. I purchased the meetup website for the Real Estate Tokenization so that we all can conduct meetings in our local communities, which and so things like that, people who have tokens to redeem the tokens to attend those meetings without having any fees, get access to premium training content without any fees, and you know, download the ebooks or, you know, things like that. I would say is inherent value that we can give to people who feed into the network and earn tokens. They can redeem them for those types of things that, you know, maybe other people in the public will have to pay for. And so that's what I conceptualize inherent value in the tokens are, but I don't know if that's what you guys are referring to or not. But maybe you can help refine my understanding of how this works.
that is value to the tokens. We're talking about creating value as far as us, the DAO, the community, and the tokens are just a digital representation of the DAO. I mean, we're a tokenized Web3 community, and you know, like what that looks like if we do a good job distributing tokens here, and we don't just toss tokens out willy-nilly, where, you know, like there's a solid, like, hey, I had to pour some blood, sweat, and tear over participating in multiple meetings, you know, and actively engaging, and like there's an increasing amount of tools that are available. So what I'm talking about, like some value, like you mentioned, like the virtual summit, like that's one of the things that to put on a roadmap here for our community is facilitating like a REtoken virtual summit, where, you know, like the virtual summit, or the summit that we're going to, the digital securities. I think, what are those tickets, Teresa? Like $1,000 or $2,000, and that's one of the things. Like I could, you know, that's a retarded high barrier of entry, and like I could easily see us facilitating a free virtual summit where everybody could come, and we could, like, I really enjoyed the hop in live summit, and you know, like and that would be something of value that year in, year
Jason,
out.
I just wanted to say, Yui had posted that he had to hop off.
Okay.
I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Yui Saran. Just wanted to give him an opportunity, if he wanted to, before he left. I'm not sure if he did or not, to if he had any input that he wanted to add to the conversation, or if there's anyone else that has to hop off that would like to contribute to the conversation before they have to go. I know we're at the top of the hour, so I just wanted to give people an opportunity.
I just wanted to check and make sure, is there a role? Because if we do just decide to distribute POAPs, I wanted to make sure everybody, if anybody left.
Hi,
Yeah,
it's Tyler. I am taking role right now. So the only thing that I need is I need everybody's wallets for when we do start doing the drops. And I need to make sure that a couple of you guys are logged in as phone numbers. And like I mentioned earlier, I didn't realize that Amy and Amy Lou were the same person. So if you log in as a nickname or whatever, I don't necessarily need your real name. I just need to know if you're logging in as anybody else. So I don't, Jason, if you want to make that a little bit bigger so everybody can see it. But yeah, I've been trying to track down. The only thing is that some people are only logged in as their first names or whatever. So if this looks like a mistake to you, then just let me know. So you can send me a DM on that, or you can, I'm Miss Yonks on Discord if that's easier.
Yeah, and I would be super excited to go through and get the POAP thing implemented, because that's definitely something would like. But yeah, so and real quick, like that's actually, to go back to the agenda, that's actually one of the things that I had here as a bullet point, I think, on the agenda. If not, it was hanging around somewhere here. Was the token distribution, and I'm trying to see if I had it as a bullet point, but yeah, and that's represented. So like one of the things that we decided via the second working group was for participating in the first two tokenomics working groups, that each person participating would receive 50 REtokens. And I think that we should carry that forward for working group number 3 here. And that's actually something that I want to get in place, where that we can start utilizing these tools, because we're absolutely set up on Snapshot right now. And looking here, we have no proposals, and that would be a good segue into going back to the agenda here. Is and look, I guess I did a fairly good job itemizing that. So the and that's this one here, the tokenomics working group's initial token distribution. So let me do an indent here. 50 WG number 1 plus 50, and my thoughts are 50 retokens for this working group tonight. Now, I kind of wanted, I would like us to think of here, and this is kind of how I'm operating, is think of these tokens as $1. Now, as I've said, they currently have no real value, but we are operating on a limited supply. And if we can, and the reason that I like of just thinking of them as $1 is it's just easy to think about. You don't have to think about any multiples or anything like that. And another way, and this is kind of what I was alluding to in this right here, this comment that I had, and I'm just going to read this right now. So even though REtoken are currently worthless or valueless, a great way to look at these tokens is that we received 10 million in venture capital funds, and we cannot get any additional venture capital funds. So that being said, like until we go from season 0 to season 1, the opportunity to potentially like reboot things. And where I'm going with this is like, again, I'm a huge fan of the Polkadot Kusama, and I don't know what it'll look like. Like they're getting a lot of momentum with that project. So like before we launch season 1, we might continue to have conversations. Okay, well, because that's a different dynamic when, because the opportunity for us to flip, go from 10 million Polygon tokens to 10 million of XYZ token is super easy. So anyway, that was a little bit of a tangent. Going back over here. So one of the things that I would really like us to get good at, and whether it's using Snapshot, which we're set up today. Is anybody else able to not hear?
I hear everything.
Okay, well, I'm gonna assume that it's I'm gonna assume that it's something on your end, Dax. So hopefully, I was getting worried there because I felt that was some good stuff. So anyway, going back to one of the things that I'm really hoping that we can get good at is creating a solid workflow. And I don't know what that'll look like because until I get some more personal operational experience, and it can kind of be a work in progress. And I'm going to be playing around with some Discord because I really believe that Discord is going to be like a foundational component for us really building a thriving community, and super excited about using Discord here for our community. So anyway, going back to the that thought here is tokenomics working group number 2, and what I'm proposing to is a 50 tokens here for working group number 3. So one of the other things I already mentioned too, and had some side conversations. So if anybody like so the way that I envision the workflow, and there's a really good article, and I'm going to put this in here. I've referenced this article before. I'm going to reference it again. So here's a good article that kind of talks about the relationship with Gnosis Safe and Snapshot. So Snapshot or Gnosis Safe is a multi-sig wallet. I think assets under management that are trusted within crypto space, Gnosis Safe is like $40 billion. So when a proposal gets submitted in Snapshot, we don't have any proposals right now. I'm going to go back to this tab. Here's some of the initial proposals that I'm advocating here to do. And I'm going to work with these initial proposals of just thinking through some potential workflow. Because like once the proposal, and I don't know how much capabilities, and if somebody that has some operational experience with Snapshot can speak to that, that would be great. But I think it would be better to kind of have a mechanism where, because we don't want just proposal sprawl on Snapshot. So anyway, if somebody else wants to speak about their operational experience here with Snapshot or proposals, I'm gonna mic up and let somebody else talk a minute.
I can. What's the question about Snapshot? I can answer questions about it.
So where I was going with that, Popester, is like how do some existing DAOs, like do they have a mechanism where potential proposals get discussed like in a forum mechanism or
Yes, yeah.
Discord? That's where I was going with that.
I personally hope to see most of it concentrated either to Discord. Many communities use discourse, like forums, so that might be something to look at.
And
yeah,
I
usually
think I was just gonna chime in there, like with this this threaded feature is super new to Discord. I mean, like it literally rolled out like network wide today, and with what I'm seeing on that, I'm really liking the opportunity. And I literally just spun up a new voting channel here. So like and on this and I think I had it, I can't remember if it was over here. Let me look over here. I think it's probably in this agenda. So like Genesis proposal. Let me see about creating a thread over here. So those of you that aren't on Discord, feel free to hop on Discord, and I'll see if I can get a link in there, because again, that's going to be our main hub. But going back to the Discord, so like on tokenomics, let's do Genesis proposal thread. So this is a let's see, Genesis proposal. And don't like help me out here. Isn't that like what the EIPS is? That's functionally a proposal in Ethereum, right?
that's correct.
Yeah. So like EIPS, what is it, 1559 that just went live here recently?
Mm-hmm.
So where does that number come from? Is that a number that's generated in their DAO?
They start out with number one and you just keep going.
Got it. Okay. No, well, is that baked in organically, or is that just something that there's like somebody's keeping a spreadsheet or something?
Well, I mean, it's all kept track of in the forums. So they use, I believe, like discourse type forums.
Gotcha. Okay.
For most of the yeah.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And that's one of the things where we've got a tools section here, and I think I even had an indication of and again, I'm a tools guy. I love tools and want to open up the conversation for various tools, exploring different tools. I know that Serge is really great about chiming in. So Serge, I got to ask, are you a Discord user yourself? I've really appreciated your contributions on Slack. I'm hoping you can start giving us some nuggets there on Discord as well.
Unfortunately, I hate Discord. So not much help on that.
You said you were not a fan of the Discord, huh?
Not a fan, yeah.
Not a fan. Okay. Well, and that's something that, like, you know, because we also have a Telegram, and I think having a presence on some of these other channels, it's just the stage capability, and we've already ran into some technical limitations with like Zoom. Zoom's a paid dynamic. I was just looking at the Wall Street Journal where Zoom had like record 1 billion revenues, and that's one of the things that's kind of more interesting about the Discord model. But anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent here. So going back to the conversation, I was creating this Genesis proposal, and I don't want to talk too much about that. And that's something that I do want to talk about this, that I wrote, the comment that I wrote on here as far as the Genesis proposal. And I'm just going to read this comment out loud. So I've already commented within this document the value of story, and I used the story brand reference. If you haven't heard of the story brand and you're somebody that is wanting, it's a great book. Anyway, check it out. So as a DAO, the proposal process will be a foundational component for decentralized autonomy to occur. And the thing about these proposals is that we will never again be able to tell our origin story, and thought that this would be a fun way to do that. And I don't know if some other people, I've got a link to a Medium article here, and this is one of the things that I'm just kind of putting that out there. I would really like to get a presence on mirror.xyz for REtoken. And I think that this is an opportunity for us to potentially submit an entry in getting a network effect, rallying the community so that we can, as a community, get a presence. And one of the ways to look at Mirror XYZ is it's kind of like the medium equivalent of, it's kind of like the medium equivalent. That's where I was going with that. So it's decentralized. It's pretty interesting. And I don't know, does anybody that's in the audience right now, are they actively a writer or a contributor on a Mirror account? Okay, so I will keep on. So that's kind of like a roadmap.
I think all our dev people are gone. Are there any more developers in the room?
This isn't a dev conversation. This is a people that are gifted in the writing. So people that are good written communicators, like bloggers or other. Yeah, it's not a dev centric. It's people that are gifted with the written language.
I'm published, but not on the forum that you're speaking of.
Yeah, so again, that's something that I've got on, that I think that it would be of value for REtoken to put together a strategy. So anyway, that was a little bit of a tangent. Going back to the main thing is that these are some proposals that I think that would be some initial proposals, and I'm going to put my mic on, and so the other one is the tokenomics working group, as far as another like our second official proposal, and then the other one is a proposal to set up Gnosis Safe. So I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna let some other people contribute some thoughts as far as what may be some initial proposals, or just to chime in on these first three that I've proposed for proposals. Okay, well, not too much thoughts on that. So that's kind of the direction that we'll go in on that here. And what I'll do here for this Genesis proposal is I'll create a Google Doc, and if somebody wants to contribute on that, and one of the things that I would like to do is between now and I'm gonna get some personal experience with the proposal process. And then the other one too, does anybody have any thoughts, or I think anyway on the initial token distribution, including doing 50 tokens for this working group tonight?
I actually like what you've been saying, Jason. I don't have any thoughts to add to it, but I really agree with where you're going with this. This is Andrea, and I feel like that's actually seems to me like a really good direction to head towards. So I'm just gonna put a yay in for that. So that's me.
And the big value of this process too is that, like, this exercise of yay or nay, that'll be all facilitated via snapshot. We get some of these initial tokens out, we'll get some flow going here. And again, this is the spreadsheet that Tyler is working on. The sooner that we get the details in there, and depending on the time, I'm looking at the time right now, it's 8:25, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. And I don't know how much that we'll figure out as far as the Gitcoin hackathons, but currently looking at 2 working groups, 2 hours each, either Wednesday or Thursday will be hackathon number 1. And then we'll look at doing a second hackathon and try to figure out what makes the most sense as far as just kind of blocking out some times and just getting better organized so that we can really position ourselves to win these Gitcoin hackathons and get the momentum from that. So anyway, going back to the agenda, we also have the opportunity here and the need of setting up Gnosis Safe. So Gnosis Safe is one of the, and I already spoke a little bit about there. So if somebody is interested in, for the people that we don't have the Ethereum wallet addresses, and I'll actually add this as a question in that email communication, but we have the opportunity for people to potentially be more of a custodian. And we're really wanting this to be reserved for founding members. And, you know, we want this people that are engaged, obviously, because my expectations as far as the way that the process works, and again, that's where this article over here kind of has a better understanding. It doesn't go into that, but it talks about the modular design, and you should be able to get an understanding. So the way that I understand it is a proposal gets submitted in Snapshot, and then everybody does their vote on that. And then once that vote occurs, that gets kicked over, whether you use the automated workflow or whether it's a manual process. And that's one of the things that we can do is figure out what that looks like when we shortlist who that these people will be on the that. So if that's something that you're interested in, reach out to myself or Teresa offline, and that's something that we can have a solid conversation about and set up a smaller working group for those people and work on getting Gnosis Safe set up within REtoken DAO. And that'll be an important component, and would really like to get that done pretty soon. And I'm thinking, and this is just me thinking out loud, probably between Hackathon work group number 1 and Hackathon work group number 2. So does anybody else want to pipe in on the Gnosis Safe and the thoughts on that?
This is Poopstar. Yeah, I've had some experience with Gnosis Safe before as well. It's fairly easy to kind of set up and implement a multi-sig. I'm happy to kind of help that along if somebody's willing to learn, or I don't want to take full responsibility for it, but I'm happy to help out with that if anybody wants to.
And I'm not expecting it to be hard. I think the bigger thing is like just getting some agreement on who that those custodians will be, and so I'm expecting that it should be a pretty easy process. I don't completely understand what the hackathon that they have, but that's not an important component, because the Gnosis Safe is something that we were planning on doing the hackathon aspect aside. It just got to be a higher priority for the opportunity with the timing of the hackathon. So that being said, if that's something that you are wanting to learn, hit me up or Teresa up, and we'll make sure that you're looped into those conversations and we already had some preliminary conversations like with the Opportunity Zone Fund DAO, but that's almost historical now. So anyway, I'm just catching up on some direct messages here. And again, that's something that we're really hoping that the people that are engaged in these working groups and like really want to commit to being a founder. And with the, I was just looking at the time, one of the things that we did have as far as a targeted completion date, which we're obviously going to be kicking down the road a little bit, was the finalization of our operating agreement. And the operating agreement, if you haven't heard me utilize this as an analogy, it's kind of like the legal aspects of putting bringing everything all together, the DAO and the software and all of that. That's really the online operational, and then the operating agreement is kind of the back end to validate that within the brick and mortar legal world. So we did have that, and with that and with where we're at here, I'm actually going to advocate updating the new target completion date for that to be the end of September, and wanted to give people the opportunity to chime in on that thought real quick here.
Cooper, you had posted a link in the chat, let'sdefi.com. Can you clarify that link, because that's a dead link?
I
And
actually,
third, would you-
I actually updated that link. If you scroll a little
Okay.
bit down, I posted
Was that the
correct link.
defi.com? Third, would you like to say your goodbyes or any parting words before you go?
No,
Yeah,
no, it's let's do defi.com. I just posted the link. That's let's do defi.com. Make sure that
All
you
right,
go to the
got
right
it.
one.
Thank
I don't know what defi.com is.
All right.
Yeah, and I put that in the document up here to Teresa, under where we were talking about that, because and let's see.
So for the two working groups on the hackathon, can we get that scheduled?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out on the I've got a what's it called, a live stream that I'm working on getting scheduled, that'll be potentially either conflicting on Wednesday or Thursday, and I haven't heard back on that. So that's some of which on my end. So I'll get I'll get that scheduled here, and it'll be for 7 p.m. unless we want to kick it a little bit later. I think 7 Eastern is a pretty good time frame for people.
Can you screen share me just so I can show people who don't already know how to access that on the Trello, so they can get up to speed before we meet?
Yeah, are you talking about the well, so
the hackathon stuff that we've already been working on?
Yeah,
and all the links and the videos and everything.
What one of the things that I was actually going to suggest, Teresa, is that we create a new Google Doc, and I started doing a little bit of stuff over here with Discord on that. There's the hackathons over here, and so that's one of the things that I'm going to get some stuff cleaned up and better organized so that we can be productive for the conversation.
Okay, well, in the meantime, do you want to screen share so I can show people where the information is currently?
Yeah, or I can do it to a tab. Let me go ahead and just stop sharing, because I would rather take a break from the screen share myself. So let me kick that over to you here, Teresa.
How many other agenda item things that we need to get to? Because I know we got, what, 30 minutes left. How much time do I have for this?
And I don't know if we want to implement the POAP for tonight or not, but that was something that we had in there. I think that we should focus on getting better prepared for the hackathon myself, because the POAP stuff is lower priority in my opinion.
I created one for us.
All right, well, okay, so first we'll finish out the POAP, and then we'll spend the rest of the time on the hackathon. How's that sound? Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Let me know how this appears to everyone, because I have 2 monitors up here. I'm not sure if y'all can see. Can y'all see the Trello board?
Yep.
Looks good.
Yes.
Okay. Does everyone have access to the Trello, or do they need a link or an invitation?
I'm looking at mine right now.
Yes, we
Is
have
there anyone
access.
who does not have access? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, we're moving on. So when you go into the Trello board under projects, Decentralized Governance Hackathon. There's a link in here. So there's 3 bounties that we have submitted for, started, but haven't completed. The governance Legos, that should be a dot right here. This is the 3rd bounty. So when you click these links, it's going to take you over to the page that tells you about the bounty, the judging criteria, and you'll see my submission here on it. We need all hands on deck to get through the requirements and so that we can submit them. So for this particular one, what I did was I put some notes in here from where we started, and I created a checklist of some of the things that they need so that we can accomplish what it states on that page. So here's the image, a screenshot of where it goes to. Let's see.
And real quick, Teresa, since this is a tokenomics working group, can I actually propose here, since we're talking about 2 more working groups, just extending the 50 token per conversation forward? So whoever participates in these upcoming hackathon work groups, that will reward those tokens for the participation in those as well, because I really think that, again, that with the participating and then winning these will really provide a lot of social proof. So I'm just putting that out there as a proposal, and sorry for the interruption. Back to you, Teresa.
All right, thank you. So on this one, part of it is setting up our protocol for REtoken DAO in boardrooms, and as a part of setting it up, we have to upload a file with a high-level description of who we are and what our governance process is. So that's going to require us having a meeting and discussing, hey, what all are we doing? Where's the boundary begin and end of who we are and what we're doing? And what is our governance process, and spelling that out and uploading it in the file. Number 2, we also have to go and, Pooster, you probably can understand this better than me, but and explain it better than me, but this is on the website. It says they want us to upload markdown files to a resource folder. And so Ready has volunteered to add the markdown files and to update the overview file and to add the events with the title and the URL and the date and the type, but he wants me to send over to him the data. So the data would be call notes, like we're taking these notes in the Google Docs, product updates, development, anything like that, any kind of notes and stuff that we have. Just like they're in Google Docs or on the Trello board or in Discord, we need to put it in their system. So their system will create, I guess, a GUI for our stuff like Trello does, I'm assuming. Same with our events, so that they'll have that data and then they can publish it out through Boardroom. So we have to enter in all our events, enter in who we are, what we're doing, our governance process, and any other notes from our meetings, and all that stuff needs to be organized and sent over to Ready. So those are things that I need help with. If you happen to do those things before the meeting, you can upload it in here and like check off it's been done. And so then we can move on to like the next thing. And there's like a ton of things that need to be done, more than what can be done in one meeting. So when we get the developers on the call or Ready or whatever, they have all of our background information, but we have to like plan and have our background information, you know, our synopsis and descriptions. And we have a lot of information to draw from if anyone wants to take leadership in that. If anyone wants to facilitate a call and meeting where we go through that, what our governance process is, and kind of hash that stuff out. We also need to review what the logos are. If anyone, you know, we'll give you know, some extra tokens for people that help facilitate this, convene people, and make sure that those bullet point things are completed. Poopster and I have been talking a little bit through the Discord about what is it called, Poopster?
Oh, the POAP design?
Yeah. Do you want to take over from here to show us what you've done? I sent him a couple images to work with. If anyone had any suggestions real quick or changes, then you can just let me know and I can make a change and send it over to him. But I'd like to see what you have. Poopster, can I stop my screen share and send it over to you?
Oh, I don't have any. Yeah, I'm still waiting. I submitted our POAPs for creation and we're just waiting on them to be created and the codes will be sent over after they're ready. Then what will happen is we can distribute the codes to everybody who's here at the meeting. And basically it adds the POAP token to your Ethereum wallet. All you have to do is input your wallet address and it sends the token to your wallet after it's minted.
How is that different than them having our token? Or
No,
why
these
wouldn't
are
they have
just
our token?
these are just social. These don't. This is just a token on the XDAI network. So like I was explaining earlier, XDAI is just a network. It's like a side chain for Ethereum, and you don't have to pay gas fees on XDAI. So what happens is these tokens are minted on a side chain of Ethereum called the XDAI network. If you ever want them to be an actual NFT, you can mint them. There's a button on the POAP site where you can just go and mint them, and it turns it into an NFT actually on Ethereum, and then so it's in your Ethereum wallet at that point. But yeah, this is just it's all it is. Just consider it exactly what it's called. It's a proof of participation. That's exactly what it is, that lives on the blockchain forever, that proves that you were at or participated in an event. That's basically what it is.
Okay.
I apologize. Can I just interject and ask when our working group for the hackathon will be, so that we can address some of Teresa's earlier comments?
Who's that speaking?
It's Ryan.
So we're gonna have two hackathons, working groups. We're gonna have one either on Wednesday or Thursday, and then a second one on Saturday. And that's one of the things.
Right, can we
go ahead.
Can we pick the Wednesday or Thursday now and set that time?
Yeah, hold on one second.
There's a handy little walkthrough that Boardroom gives on their page for the information that they want from us that we need to upload to basically push onto their portal. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but it should be great for the working group that we can get through that, especially if folks have a chance to look at it before then.
Yeah, so I was just looking at my.
I'm not sure what you just said. Can you either text it, because you sounded kind of muffled to me and I couldn't make it out, or repeat what you said?
Sorry, Teresa, I was just saying, do you remember the document the link that we were looking at that basically showed us, it walked us through the information that Boardroom wants from us for their portal that we need to upload?
Is this Ryan? I'm sorry, I can't see because I'm screen sharing and talking.
Yeah, it's Ryan. It's Ryan.
Okay, so yes, let me show you where that is. Once you get into the decentralized governance hackathon, let's see, in the governance Lego, let's see, add protocol information. If you click that link, it takes you to what they want, and
Exactly.
they also have an index for examples.
Tons of examples. Yep.
Yeah.
If folks that
So
are going to
I-
participate, if folks that are going to participate in the working group for the hackathon could take a look at that add protocol information attachment and look at some of the examples and go through that, that would be great, because that's the information that we really need to get in there to take down one of those first bounties.
Yeah, so we already ran this code in the JSON file. We've already completed that process up here. These things were already done. The fork was already created. We already created the working branch, and this was already done. What hasn't been done is from here on down, starting with the high level description, right? And then we can do the pull request. And then we can get into the treasury information. So that's why I want to make sure that everyone does this before they show up for the meeting, so it can actually be a working meeting. So read it, understand, get up to speed so you can ask questions. I also posted a video of when we did those other things, if someone wants to.
One of the things that I was hoping to do, because we've got multiple bounties that we've submitted for here, Teresa, and that's one of the things that I was hoping to do is kind of break down and prioritize between our two working groups and make sure that we're tackling this in the most efficient manner possible. Because like it may make more sense to potentially, like tomorrow on Wednesday, get the Gnosis safe set up, because that's a different wallet address than the wallet address than we have now. And I would rather set it up utilizing what will ultimately become the correct wallet address than just the current wallet address. So, and that's why I was wanting to, instead of getting in the weeds on a specific one, like right now, this is one of 3 bounties that we've actively submitted a project for. And one of the other things that I would actually like to have some conversations about is how that we can still use, because the hackathon isn't over, and I still think that one of the biggest opportunities that we have besides winning the hackathon is to utilize some other opportunities to invite people into our community that are and get some additional exposure for our community.
All right, just a moment. I'd like to assign tasks before we run out of time. We have 10 minutes. So for the 3 different ones that we signed up for, does anyone see ones that they want to work on, or does everyone want to work on all 3 together? Does anyone know anything about frameworks or boardroom or DAO?
It's just functionally the same thing that we already set up with Snapshot. It's just a different capability.
Well, I'm trying to get a close of, if we have the meeting groups, do we have enough people where maybe 3 people can work on 1, 3 people can work on 2, and 3 people can work on 3 simultaneously? Or is everybody gonna have to work on all 3?
No, so like going back to the Gnosis Safe conversation, it may make sense to prioritize looking at that, and that's somebody where we want the trusted custodians of our treasury to be. So it's not just like saying, hey, that who wants to work on this. That's something that we need to finalize on who those custodians of the treasury will be, the ultimate gatekeepers for the DAO treasury there. And that's so, and maybe it would make sense to have that Gnosis Safe conversation tomorrow. I'm quite okay with scheduling tomorrow at 7, and maybe like focus on the Gnosis Safe, and like go through and get that set up, and then start working on, because I don't know if we necessarily need to group it down like a separate working group for each one. It's just like working group number 1, working group number 2, and then tackling these hackathons where we're working them in an efficient manner.
Okay. All right. For the Gnosis Safe, who will be on that call tomorrow at 7 p.m.?
You can sign me in. This is Amy.
I'm available. This is Rosetta.
This is Ryan.
Anyone else? Gnosis Safe, Wednesday, 7 p.m.?
Yeah, Poopster's available as well.
Just send the link
Anyone else?
when you do.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Teresa, is let's just send out the schedule a normal deal. And I think the big question is, do we want to potentially utilize Discord for facilitating this working group and use that other tool, or do we want to just continue on here this week and use Zoom?
I think you should use Discord and any other tool, and send the link to us.
Okay.
And put it in the Trello. We can reference. Everyone knows how to get to this Trello. And they're in the Discord. And if they can't find the link in the Discord, they can come here and look in the. Just pop the link in here, and we'll show up. However you want to disseminate the information, or whatever platform you want to use.
And one other thing, we've got 10 minutes on the agenda. So one of the other things, going back to the primary focus for tonight's working.
Can I first finish setting up these meetings? The next one you said Thursday at what time?
I don't know if I want to commit to doing three working groups in a row. Let's do the one for tomorrow and then one on Saturday. And then if we decide to host another hackathon working group, then we can make that decision on Saturday. And for Saturday, let me take a look at the calendar here. Let's do 3 Eastern on Saturday. And then we can, depending on how our positioning looks on getting these bounties submitted, we can decide if we need to have a third working group Saturday. Or
okay, is that one on Saturday going to be on Gnosis as well, or just
no? That's
to be done?
Yeah. Just group it. Hackathon working group number 1, number 2, and then like, and that's one of the things, Teresa, that I'm gonna work on here tonight is trying to use like a Google Docs and get better position as far as in my own mind, knowing what needs to be done for these, so that we can try to navigate the tasks and get them completed efficiently here.
All right, so Jason can't facilitate more than those two. There's 10 participants on the call. Is there anyone who would like to take leadership and facilitate another working group for the hackathon?
Sure. Sign me up.
Who's that? Who?
This is Ryan.
Ryan, what date are you available to facilitate a meeting for the hackathon?
I'm flexible. I have all availability any evening, East Coast time.
All right, give me a day and a time.
How about, is Thursday out of the question?
This Thursday?
Sure. I'm fine with this idea of like going on Wednesday and then like seeing how things flow and seeing what we get done and then seeing who's available for our next meeting after that too.
Thursday at 7 p.m.?
Sounds good.
Okay, Jason, what program did you say we would use for our meeting? You said something that wasn't Zoom, but I didn't catch it.
Discord, and I mean, I'm okay using Zoom for these if we want for this week, but I would really like to transition to using Discord just so that because it's just like me hosting a Zoom, you know, you only get the 40 minutes on there without a paid subscription. So
No problem. Let's see. How do we do? Or Ryan, do you know how to facilitate on Discord?
Nope, I do not, but I can figure it
Will you
out.
be able to figure that out by Thursday?
Absolutely.
Okay, and you're in this thing here.
I'm in that thing there.
I have absolutely no idea how to facilitate on Discord, so good luck to you. Send me a link and I will try my best to show up to all three of these. Did anyone else want to facilitate a fourth meeting?
I can offer to host a Zoom meeting if needed. I have a paid account if needed. But I'm excited to learn Discord.
Okay, Rosanna, how would Ryan reach out to you if Discord doesn't work for him?
I can use Zoom, Google Meet, whatever, if Discord doesn't work.
Okay, whatever you're gonna use, pop it in here so everyone will have a link to it, okay? I'm not sure how to do the Google Calendar Meet, how you would do the Google Calendar Meet that has everybody's information in there, and let's see if someone wants to explain that. Is there anyone else that would like to facilitate a fourth or fifth meeting in regards to the hackathon and creating the DAO?
Teresa, can you add me to the tomorrow's meeting, please?
All right, who is that speaking?
Dax.
Who?
Dax.
Okay.
D-A-K-S. Thank you.
Okay, this is just for my personal reference. Everyone is gonna get a link, right, Jason?
Oh, okay, got it. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, this is just for my personal reference, so I know about how many people to expect.
Yeah, just like to chime in. Jason, looks like you have some questions or some sort of, I think you're trying to figure out on Discord. Would you mind telling us what it is and see if I can help you out?
Well, I didn't understand the question. Can you repeat the question there, Dax?
Yeah, Jason, it looks like you had some sort of a question in regards to Discord. Could you tell me or tell us what it is and see if I can help you out? Is this where you're trying to set up the screen share functionality? Is that correct? Or how do you go about setting up a meeting? You know, transition from Zoom to Discord.
Oh, are you just talking about using Discord for hosting? I've used that myself. It's not hard to do. This Discord server is just getting set up. Like we just launched this Discord server a couple of days ago. So like right now, I don't even think that we have a stage for example, because normally you would do that type of a dynamic on a stage.
I switched over to my desk mic. My AirPods ran out of juice. Is that coming in over there?
We cannot hear you if you're still talking.
Test. Is the mic, is that better? Is the mic working?
You can hear it now.
Okay, good. I might not have had it close enough. So what else did we need to do before we wrap on this meeting here tonight, Teresa?
I don't know. I was wondering from Poopster, like how long that process usually takes for that proof of participation thing to complete.
Yeah, it can take up to 24
And-
hours. Usually it takes a few minutes.
Okay.
Usually it just takes 30 minutes or so. I was just going to send you a message and see if I should just send the codes to you after we finish so you can disperse them to the participants, or.
I was wondering also, is that a part of one of the hackathon things, or no? Just the token stuff.
No, this is just a separate project that we can use to implement to show that people participate in our meetings.
Okay.
And there's some way from a technical capability standpoint, Poopster, if I'm not mistaken, where that can be done more automatically, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, if we get a bot, there's a POAP bot where you just message the bot with the code and it sends you a link, or there's QR codes. There's several ways we can distribute them, I believe. But for the most part, it's going to send me a list of links for people to click on and collect their POAPs.
All right, Ryan, thank you. It's 9 o'clock. I don't have anything else.
Yeah, and I'll like I said, I'll be setting some stuff up here in Discord and going through and in the Google Docs, trying to get everything just more organized so that we can be efficient on these hackathons to get the bounties won. And I would like to have some more conversation, and I'll probably just take the lead on that, because as far as but one of the things, Teresa, that I would like to do is you and I create functionally like a pitch video for the community, and that, because that's one of the things on some of these projects that and it's functionally, I think, just that, a pitch video. So it would be good at some point in time this weekend to get that finalized as well.
Yeah, do you want to show them the video that the radio station guy made? Do y'all want to see that? Someone can make a video.
Sure.
Real quick, I just wanted to go over, which was also done in another meeting, but just in case everyone wanted to kind of see a schedule for September. If there's any of these meetings that y'all want to pop in and participate in, these were not discussed previously. We're going to move half of these Clubhouse meetings to Twitter Spaces. So we'll, instead of doing twice a week on Clubhouse, we're going to do once a week on Clubhouse and once a week on Twitter Spaces. And these are all the conferences that we will be attending and other meetings if anyone wants to participate. This one is free. Black Arrow's Blockchain and Real Estate Virtual Event on September the 9th. You might want to add that to your calendar.
Yeah, I already signed up for that one. This is Andrea. I decided that would be a good one, so I'm going to do that one.
I just wanted to mention those things really quick.
Which one?
Did I have the Wyoming hackathon on there, Teresa? I can't remember if I put that one on there.
Yes, you did.
That's another free one in Cheyenne that Vitalik is going to be at, the co-founder, one of the co-founders for Ethereum. And Wyoming is increasingly positioning themselves as a new hub here in the US for blockchain. It's September 21st to the 25th or 26th. I'm not going to be there for the duration because Teresa and I are going to the Digital Securities Assets Conference or something like that in Austin. But that would be a good one, and I got to take a look at the agenda. But another good one there in Wyoming to participate in, especially there's a day where they're going to be digging deeper into the DAO stuff. Real quick, we're still recording this, Teresa. Did you want me to stop the recording?
Well, I was trying to find the video. I don't remember the name that it was sent to me from the guy. Do you have it, Jason?
I'm not correlating what that you're referring to.
The podcast video that was created for REtoken.
I'll have to take a look. I'm not sure what to search on to be able to find it very quick.
Oh, I guess that was not a good idea. Well, I know where I have it. Give me a second.
So, and going back to the Discord, I'm just playing around a little bit right now with this thread stuff. Also, I created a category called working groups in there. We didn't have much conversation. Most of the chat was facilitated here via Zoom. And I think that that'll really just be the benefit of consolidating onto a platform like Discord, because like all of the chat that occurred in this Zoom chat here tonight during this working group will be gone when we close this Zoom. Whereas if we had facilitated this room on Discord, then that wouldn't be. So I'll figure, and I'll do some playing around here tomorrow in anticipation. I'll get the calendar invite out to everybody. The other thing too is going to be adding a scheduling bot in Discord. So most of the upgrading for community dynamics is going to be being facilitated there in Discord. So it can be pretty for the uninitiated. Discord can definitely be overwhelming and distracting, and that's one of the things that I'm going to try to do, be cognizant of when setting up Discord here, is to make it easier for those that may be joining our Discord that aren't familiar with Discord. So anyway, that's all that I've got. I feel really good about our tokenomics working group. We'll probably have to have another working group or two to really get some fundamental things like really ironed out from a foundational standpoint, and just getting in and using some of these tools like Snapshot or whatever other tools that we're going to be using for managing and governing the DAO. And I want those to be conversational. Like, you know, the tools that we're using, I have no problem going into detail, like Trello, for example, why that we're using Trello over a tool like Notion. And if anybody wants to ask, don't be afraid.
I'm gonna put a link to this in here. This is like really rough draft. And what I would like, and I didn't give him this information. He just took something that I had written up and made it for me as a gift. So if you all could just use this as inspiration and come back with me with, oh, I would like for the organization to be represented this way, and I'd like to see this, and I think it should say that instead. And then I can give him that feedback, and then he can create something, you know, really tailored to what we would like to see.
Help me understand, Teresa, how you envision this video to be used. What's the purpose of this video?
That particular video, or the video that we discussed earlier that we wanted to make?
No, the one that you were just showing there.
Well, that particular video would just probably be used on like a website or the intro into the meetings or the podcast meetings or whatever. It can be used for various things. It's a couple It's two different ones combined into one graphic for me to evaluate. But it can just give you an idea if REtoken DAO wants to have a video, just give you a reference point of something that we can kind of begin with to start a discussion around creating something. What that one is being used for, I think, is irrelevant. I think what we would use a video for is more relevant for our conversations, and having an idea of what we can have created for us without us expending any money and hiring someone, and providing them with some very clear and concise feedback for them to create something for us.
Yeah, and the video that I was suggesting that we create is just a pitch video that we can use in these bounties where it's asking for a video link to position ourselves so that the people that will be voting on their favorite projects will have that as a reference point to understand what we're working on creating here.
You said so that people who would have a video to reference?
Well, remember when we created our project submission for these bounties on Gitcoin, there was an input field that said video to talk about your project, and this is that would functionally be a pitch video that we can and should create that could be utilized there. And until we get a better pitch video for our project that we could utilize as a pitch video.
Oh, I understand what you mean. Okay, I was confused because you talking about this when you're doing this. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah. I mean, remember where it just had that field that's got like, hey, here's a video that talks about your project, and then
you talking about this?
Yeah, video demo. So, and I don't know if I'm.
Yeah, you are. What they're looking for on there is when on some projects, when you complete them, like they want you to create an innovative way for somebody to use their product. So when you've created that innovative way for someone to use their product for a DAO, they want you to create a video of step-by-step of how someone's going to use it. So that's a demonstration of how to use what you create that satisfies the bounty. That's different than a pitch of your organization.
Okay, good.
They're
so
only interested in something very specific, your end result of what you created to submit. And not all projects will result in something that needs a video.
Okay. So that makes sense. So is it a demo of whatever was created for that particular bounty?
Right.
Okay.
And not every bounty will be something that needs a demo, but it'll tell you. Submit a video at the end of it of what you did. It'll tell you. And most of the ones that we're in do not say that, but there are some that do.
Got it.
All right. I'm feeling good with ending the call now. I think we've had a great call. We've got a lot accomplished. We reviewed the tokenization. We got the proof of participation input for us to talk about tomorrow while we hash out one of the hackathons and to win a grand prize. And I look forward to speaking with everyone tomorrow evening and going through that process and building on the infrastructure of the real estate tokenization, decentralized, autonomous organization. It's so amazing. I don't want to lose sight of that, how amazing it is what we're doing. Thank you all.
And I sent the POAP codes to you on Discord, so you can disperse. There's enough there for everybody. We just need to disperse one link to each person that was present.
Okay,
Awesome.
let me go to that so you can walk me through that. Wow. All right. So each person gets one link. Is that how this goes?
That's correct. So if you just want to click on the very first one and claim it for yourself, if you have an Ethereum wallet address that you want to collect, so you would just paste your Ethereum wallet address in that box. And if you scroll down, you hit mint POAP token, and that's all you got to do. And then that proves that you were present. Whoever holds that wallet or that token proves they were present at our meeting tonight.
Thank you, Poopster, for getting that set up. That'll be fabulous, and we can have a side conversation so that Teresa or I or somebody else can learn that. It seems like a pretty easy process. And going back to the meeting agenda here, like I alluded, this is just the first of what I anticipate will be at least a couple more. And I don't know what frequency that the tokenomics working groups will occur. And that's one of the things that, as everybody has seen, and we're just learning here together as far as how that we want to facilitate things. And one of the things, and want to leave this as kind of some parting thoughts, as far as developing some teams within our community, to, whether you call them guilds or tribe or, just working groups. And we've been doing that already, where we've been putting some labels like, this is Tokenomics working group number 3, and we're having a hackathon working group, tomorrow, and then maybe some other ones, so that we can get this hackathon one and continue to throw some gas on this community fire that we're building here. And then the bigger thing too is really like, and we haven't had that much conversation the last week or two, because we've been more getting some of these foundational aspects laid. But one of the things that I'm really excited about, having some conversations here in September, which I guess will technically be tomorrow, is really starting to create some solid content that we can use for equipping our community to be the catalyst for that disruption. So did you have any final thoughts, Teresa?
No, I'm about to press this button to receive my tokens for my participation today.
Yay.
Let's see how it goes. Yay! POAP is being added to your collection. Now what do I do? You are the second collector that minted. See who else got it.
I minted the first one just to make sure it worked properly. So yeah, I minted the very first one, and like I said, if you'll just pass those out, everybody can mint the rest of them.
So every meeting I need to make a different graphic for each meeting, and then they collect all these tokens for every meeting?
I'm not sure if it's necessary to create a different graphic, but if you'd like to, you could. A lot of projects
this one has
reuse
the 31st on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of projects just use the same graphic and then change the date. You can do whatever you want with them. It accepts PNG images or animated PNG images, so you can upload movies as well. As long as
we can have some more conversations about that, because that's one of the things that are increasingly being used to just like show like stuffs. And so it's pretty cool what the POAP team is doing over there, and this whole tokenized Web3 community stuff is just barely getting started. So excited to be working on what we believe is a very worthwhile project. Was there any final thoughts here? I'm wanting to stop the recording, and if we want to carry on more conversations, but I was wanting to get any final thoughts here on the record before I stop the recording on this Zoom. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording here.